Welcome to Infinity Capital, everyone. My name is Raj. Let's talk about Vectors Food. This was a new IPO recently. So I'm going through the conference call of Vectors Food, and we are going to discuss what the company does, what sort of opportunity lies ahead, how we can try and make some money out of this. So it's a leading company in premium and mid-premium biscuit segment, right? So they make bakery products as well. So they make all sort of cookies, creams, crackers, digestive biscuits, right? Under their flagship name called Vectus Cremica. They also make bakery products, in the savory and sweet category, which includes buns, breads, pizza base, cakes, and so on and so forth, right? So they also cater to QSR. They are the largest supplier of buns in India to reputed QSR, quick service restaurants like your McDonald's and your sorry guys, I don't eat fast food. So McDonald's, your Burger King, so on and so forth, right? Okay, so they have a good supply chain, but if you notice that they are very concentrated in terms of their reach. So these are the states where they do business: Punjab, Himachal Pradesh, Jammu and Kashmir, Ladakh, right? Although they have pan India presence, they also export their products. But most of their sales happen through these states. Okay, right, and they also supply their bakery products to other burger chains in North and East India. Leading burger chains in South and West India. So they have a decent hold of the company. Another very interesting thing for sweet lovers is that they make Oreo cookies. So just a second, guys. I'll show you over here. One moment, guys. Okay. We'll just start from the top, guys. So, you know, uh, let's talk about their revenue. 42% of their revenue comes from biscuits, from domestic, and 24% of their revenue comes from exports, right? Then 21% of their revenue comes from bakery, 8% comes from institutional bakery, right? So this is the revenue mix. Okay, they have two manufacturing facilities in Himachal, right, and so on and so forth. Overall, they have six manufacturing facilities. Okay, so they have distribution network around 23 states, right, so on and so forth. But they are largely concentrated in these just a moment, guys. So these are the states where they are largely concentrated in, right? So something that we need to take into account. Now, if you want to do sort of a very deep dive into it, you can study the DRHP, you can study the annual report. If you want to invest in the food and biscuits industry, you could do a deep dive into it, right? So it is the sole and preferred supplier to some of the leading international QSRs such as McDonald's, KFC, PVR, Cloud Kitchens, so on and so forth, right? Right. So see, they entered into an agreement with Cadbury for manufacturing Oreo biscuits. So Oreo biscuits, kids love Oreo biscuits, right? So this is something also noteworthy. So they have a lot of things going for them. Supplying bakery products to QSR and all of and making Oreo biscuits. They are in the premium segment. So I like the overall mix, the product mix of the company. So they did a greenfield investment. In 2018, a greenfield investment is the one, guys, that which is a new investment. They'll sort of take a land, build up a whole new factory. That's called greenfield investment. 2020, they did expansion of the same facility, right? They were also looking to expand the Noida facility. Okay, right. So we'll also go through the ratings, guys. This is something that I like to look at always. Interesting fact is it's a small company, but so the ratings are A minus. Ratings have been upgraded. Actually, it was A1 plus earlier, and the ratings have been upgraded. So 270 crores of bank loan facilities they have. So it's always prudent to come and check what sort of rating your company enjoys. See whether in a good market, certain companies with bad ratings will go up. But if you want to protect your capital, guys, you have to stick around with companies which have good ratings, right? So this is something that I always look at. Even if I'm doing a 2 quarter investment, I like to look at the ratings. I wouldn't go and invest in a company whose ratings are bad, you know. So let's look at the investor profile. Promoters hold around 51% stake, decent amount of FII and DII participation. And in the public segment, you'll see that most amount of shares is actually with some big, sort of these GW Crown, Linus Private Limited. Okay. So out of 39, 40%, 15%, 15 plus 2, 17% is not tradable on a regular basis, because these are the companies which own this. So companies which own 7, 8% are not going to trade on a regular basis. So only around 25% of the stock is out there to be traded on a regular basis. Something that I always like to find out. I don't like to trade stocks where there's too much retail participation, because the only problem with that is retail investors can't hold their gains. See, institutional investors have a lot of cost, right? They deal with big bankers. They have a lot of overhead costs. They don't get into a stock for 15-20% gains. So they enter a stock and they want larger gains, 100-200% gains. Retail investors can't hold their gains, and that is the reason why I like institutional participation. Okay. So or individual investors, decent amount of cash flows. Okay. In the past 2 years, balance sheet, they have around 132 crores of borrowings, pretty decent, nothing worrisome. Around 10 crores of investment, 85 crores of cash on the books, so that's roughly around 95 crores. So on a 2500 crore company, they have roughly around 100 crores of investments and cash. So that's pretty good. The balance sheet looks very good, strong. Let's go through the P&L. So the sales have been rising steadily. Profits have also been rising. If you see, the profits have gone from 36 crores to 76 crores, almost doubled in the past 3 to 4 years. Their margins have also increased. So margins have also become better. Quarter on quarter, if you'll see, March revenues were higher, so were the profits. December revenues were also higher, and the profits were also higher too. So there is good amount of traction, in the on a quarter on quarter basis. Let's do a quick technical analysis check. Before that, I'll just want to show you one more thing, guys. The IPO price was around 286, 288. The stock came pretty close to that price, and then it bounced back. So I've been following this stock, but it was falling continuously. So I sort of didn't make any position in this. However, I feel that a bottom has been made in this stock. Okay. My sense is that a bottom has been made around here, and now we can see the stock start going upwards. So what is the strategy here? According to me, the stock should probably consolidate within this range. Okay. So this should probably be the bottom, for the short term. Where am I looking to buy? I am looking to buy within this range. This is the range between 400 and 450 is the range within which I am looking to accumulate this stock. Right on the left, if you'll see, the stock took its 50-day, it sort of reclaimed its 50-day moving average in May, and now it has been trading above the 50-day moving average. It's been almost more than 2 months. So 50 days, 2 months has 60 days. That is why the 50-day moving average has also started trending upwards. So that's also a good sign. It has been trading continuously above its short-term moving averages also, but I don't give a lot of importance to this white line is a 21-day moving EMA. I don't give it a lot of importance, because I trade for 2 quarters, 3 quarters, so a 20-day movement in a stock is of less relevance to me, right? So I'll be looking to accumulate this stock between between 400 and 450. What sort of returns am I expecting? So to begin with, I'm expecting at least a 35-40% uptick in this stock, right? So I'll be looking to sell some near the all-time high, right? And then I'll hold on to the rest of the stock. Uh, I'm going to first wait for the next June quarter earnings to come in and see what sort of results are coming in. Last year, we've seen a massive rally in food processing companies, ADF, DFM Foods. All of these companies have done very well. So post IPO, this company has not done well. Another reason why, I'll be more interested in buying this stock. Another thing is that with the lockdowns easing up, guys, the QSR's business should pick up. And if that business picks up, another reason to cheer for this company, because they provide bakery products to QSRs. So very interesting. This stock is at a very interesting level. It's not extended. It's available cheap. At a PE of 35 and price to sales of 2.93. So if you look at let's look at ADF Foods. ADF Food is also a food processing company. The price to sales is at around 5. So this company is at available half of price to sales of ADF Foods. Then there is a company called DFM Foods. Another food processing company is available at a price to sales of 4, PE of 70. So Bector Food is pretty decently priced. In my opinion, it is undervalued at current levels, and I'll be looking to accumulate the stock, between 400 and 450. Quick disclaimer, this is an educational video. It's not a buy sell recommendation. Thanks a lot for watching, guys.